Welcome everybody, it's Unstoppable Stiletti again, and we're here with some more Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition PK Player Killers Clan tournament casted matches. So we're going to do the rest of the ones for the preliminary round tonight, and then on Monday we're going to begin doing the round of 64 games, the first ever best out of threes. So yeah, that'll be pretty neat, huh? Finally looking at some real series for once instead of just a bunch of one-offs, which would be good. Yeah, so that'll be pretty nice, right? Absolutely. Looking forward to it. So, yeah. How you all enjoying the tournament so far? Are you enjoying all the series? So, yeah, I'm just typing out here to all the Discord servers to join, and we should be all good. Yeah, I'm going to try to share with as many DE related Discord servers as I can so maybe they can watch along with us. If not, you can totally watch it tomorrow too if you'd like. Though you probably will have to catch up since technically, what time is it now? 11:51, right? We're technically doing two streams today, right? Because we're gonna do the one now, and then we're gonna do another one between 5 and 6 p.m. today as well. Yeah, October 20th. So yeah, technically you'll be looking at two streams today if you want to watch the whole thing with me. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, no, I love doing these series because these have all been very skilled players, so never really been bored by what I've seen. It's always been really informative, educational stuff for AoE 3D players to know how to play things pretty much. So I would recommend you watch all these games. They're all really neat. There's a ton of stuff going on in them. It's totally worth it. Big time. Hopefully I got them all because these are the ones that I saw posted in the Discord server. But I'm not gonna look up for any stragglers just because we're really behind, and we got to get on to the round 64 ones right away because I'm already seeing a graphic for round of 32. So yeah, we definitely need to speed things up a little bit. Zippity doo dah, zippity day, you know. Yeah, but definitely should be pretty fun. Just give me a few more moments and then we should be all set to go. Alright, sounds good. Okay. Almost done here. Almost done. We should be all set. Alright. What did you think of Revolution Day yesterday? It was a very eventful day for me. Doing a whole 12-hour marathon from noon to midnight. That was pretty substantial. I mean, I I knew I was gonna be able to do it. I didn't have a doubt that I was gonna like cut it early or anything, but I was just impressed with how many people came together for that. It was really nice to see. And I hope Microsoft learns a lesson and actually comes back to supporting this game with some good balance and bug fixing updates, which we totally need. Also, again, that Polish and Danish DLC revamped again, that would be pretty good. That'd actually be pretty phenomenal if they actually came back and took care of that, since we've been waiting on that one for a while. Oh yeah, that would be really good. What else? I don't know what this week's gonna look like schedule wise for our stream order. I know I want to go through all this PK tournament stuff first. We will be doing a casted stream for Wars of Liberty because we gotta catch up on that too. What we do with the rest of the time, I don't know. Oh yeah, we're gonna be doing an Or of Guzen skit this week too because Gafas promised me that he'd have another update out for me this week. So that is gonna be going on now, which is pretty good. Absolutely. Hopefully my skills with these skits have been getting better and not worse, but definitely let me know if you're enjoying my stuff or not. Basically, yeah, definitely. And guess what? I was talking to somebody who does Age of Empires 3 modding. in the Legacy game. And they did say we might be getting some cool new units in it. I'm not going to tell you what those are, but just know that they're going to be pretty neat when they come out in the future. I don't know when, but yeah, pretty cool stuff, right? Absolutely. Big time. So yeah, you'll definitely be enjoying that, I think. It's something related to me, something I like, so yeah. And it's related to the voice pack too that I did. Pretty much, yeah, so that's pretty neat. I think one more server and we should be all set. Yeah. It's always a pain having to go through all these Discord servers to let them know, hey, I'm live. Come look at me, man. Yeah, I know. It takes a lot of time. How long did that take me to do? It took only 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Oh, that's good. That wasn't too long, was it? Ah, not at all. Yeah, it's a Sunday night, so I'm not expecting a ton of people to watch it live, so that's totally fine. I just want to get these out of the way so we can move on to the fun stuff on Monday. The more relevant stuff, I should say. Alright, so this is Group D. Chinese name versus Asdio 39. This is our first one that we're going to be covering tonight. So, let's get ready for it, okay? Okay, so here we are. Asdio is the Dutch, and the Chinese fella there is playing as Mexico. So we got a Mexico versus Dutch. That's a pretty interesting matchup. I feel like what we're probably going to see is we're going to see a Mexico using one of their revolts, most likely, in Age 2, going up against a Dutch, ideally heading towards Age 3 with fortified banks. That seems to be the probable situation. But we'll definitely see if that ends up happening or not. Alright, so where are we at? So it looks like Asdio already got a 30 XP treasure. Chinese fella there got 25 wood. So everybody's finding some decent treasures so far. Market going up for Mexico to get hunting dogs, it looks like. Right. What are the Dutch doing right now? So the Dutch right now are simply... let's figure out what the Dutch are planning, actually. So they did build a house, it looks like. And they are having about 4 merchants on the coin mine there. Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out if they were going with a 10 village up or if they were going to try to balance out their gold and food income to get some more merchants out. So it looks like they will be doing that. Right. Yeah. So queuing up merchants. We'll have to check the deck as well to sort of get an idea of what the Dutch is going to be doing exactly. Right. But I can tell you right away, they're probably going to stick to sort of the standard build, which is typically ship in 3 merchants, get your 700 wood, get a bank wagon, that sort of thing. If they do anything a bit deviant from that, we'll definitely tell right away. Alright, so, deck-wise, looks pretty normal to me. The resource crates in Age 2, the pike, the hussar, the bank wagon, royal decree, pretty reasonable. Age 4, well, Age 3, it looks like we got a ton of stuff. 2 skirm shipments, Reuters, Hussars, even Bosniaks, right? Remember, you are the Dutch, you got banks, they trickle a ton of gold for you, so being able to afford a mercenary shipment is probably more valuable than most civs. So Bosniaks are one of the good ones. Age 4 is pretty bland with heavy cans at factories. Alright. So we know at least what they might be doing there. In Mexico, what's Mexico up to? What's that deck called? 1-1? 11? Are you ready? Taunt, are you ready? Are you ready? Yeah, basically that one. And in general, they could be playing pretty normal here, non-revolt, or they could revolt. I have no idea. Because look at all the resource crates they got and reinforcements and stuff. They have the Navajo, they have the Machete card to upgrade the Insurgentes. Yeah, quite a lot going on there. Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to figure it out as time goes on. So Mexico's going up with Querétaro. Ooh, interesting. That's not one we see a lot. As for Dutch, they are going up with the Naturalists. The Naturalists. That's a little interesting. So what is Azio doing here exactly? He's playing kinda, well, alright, now he's going over the wood. Yeah, see, what you're supposed to do with the Dutch is, you're supposed to balance out your food and wood economy in the transition from age 1 to 2, so you can get your first bank. Your bank costs about 350 food, 350 wood. So after you get all the food you need, right to the trees so you can get enough wood to actually build that first bank out. Looks like he's doing that right now. Unfortunately, it looks like he will be a bit delayed, right? So he's only on about 220 wood right now. It's a little slow. Also, I don't totally understand the naturalist decision here. 2 cows and 2 villagers. I mean, honestly, quartermaster is usually going to be the play with the Dutch because they give you 400 wood, and that's pretty astronomical for getting a second bank as well as getting your first barracks up. Alright, he is shipping in about 8 pikemen. Is that right? Yeah, it's a little unorthodox. I just don't know what he's doing here. So he's getting an abnormal politician. He's shipping in pikemen. Not getting any sort of wood card. His economy's going to be a little bit slow here, honestly. Yeah. No, it is. Right, so Mexico goes center of the map with their hacienda. Builds a barracks there to make soldados. They're going to ship in some coin. Followed by the 3 Shenango shipment. So a big rush of soldados with some supporting Shenankos there. So 3 hand calves and super tough 2-pot muskets. Yeah. Alright, so I believe in this situation the Mexico's looking a lot better here. Because, well, pikemen are not going to be able to stop soldados, I'm just saying. I mean, look at the stats on the soldado here. It's a 2-pop unit, but it's very strong. It's 300 HP. Well, it's in its hand attack right now, but if you look at the range attack, you can tell, hey, this is a very tough soldier here. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, alright, there's the Shenango riders right there. Up. He's not paying attention, though. He's fighting the treasure guardians, and the pikemen will take out one of them. Right, but somehow misses the other ones and lets them slip. And the Shenangos press the skirms now. Yeah, I don't like this for Dutch here. He's really not prepared for this push. You can tell. Wow, he's taking his pikes out in melee with the soldados. That's pretty insane. No, it is. Rarely ever see that being done. Alright, Shenangos take out the last skirm. Looks like his base is completely gutted of military, so it's really Mexico's advantage now to push. You know, they're queuing up more soldados, they're shipping in their Sultan territory card, basically they're skirmishers, so they should be all set to go for a push very soon here. That's what it's looking like right now. Yeah, I mean, how many banks is Dutch on? Does he have any banks? Wait a second now. Wait a second. Does he have any banks at all here? He does not. He doesn't have any banks open, and he just sent his wood card. Whoa. Whoa, this is not good. He has, like, no economy. He has no gold economy. You can't do that as the Dutch. You gotta have at least 3 banks by now. 2 that you built, and then the bank wagon one. He is looking really bad right now. Because the problem is Dutch don't get musketeers, they get skirmishers. So you need a ton of coin to be able to afford those skirms. And if you don't have any banks, it's not looking too good for you, chap. Not good at all. I mean, this is looking really bad, actually. I mean, look, the Mexico is massing these heavy 300 HP muskets here. You need skirmishers to counter these. And if you're only, you know, scrounging together, what does he only have, like 5 or 6 right now? And then he's going to queue up a few more? This is not good. Alright, he's getting his bank wagon, so he's going to have 1 bank. Not great. And the Mexico's already staking him out there with the Saltatores in stealth mode, ambushing him now. And he's just going to lose them all to 2 Shenango riders. And whatever range troops the Mexico has trailing him behind. Wow, wow. This is like one of the worst Dutch performances I've ever seen, ever. I mean, I was getting cooked as the Dutch in this tournament myself, and I didn't even play that bad. I at least demonstrated good bank economy. Alright, he built up 2 more banks just now, looks like. Yeah, no, not good. Not good, man. You should have been a lot more on your feet here, I think. I think the naturalist age-up was a total mistake, among a few other things. But yeah, no. GG, man. That's unfortunate. That's an unfortunate situation to find yourself in. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was, like, beside myself looking at that. Especially as someone who enjoys the Dutch a whole lot. I was like, man, you could be doing a little bit better than that now, don't you think? Yeah, no. Alright, scroll down. Scroll down through all this stuff here, and then we should be on the next one. Very good. So it's going to be a Chinese name fella versus a Chinese name fella. Like working at the Chinese restaurant, huh? Yeah. Okay, so we got a India versus an Inca. I like that combination. Those are actually 2 civs I really like in Age of Empires 3 for winning. I have a pretty good track record with both of them, so definitely seeing an India fighting an Inca is up my alley. I like that. Because we're going to see in real time on Great Plains which civ ends up doing better here, which should be totally cool. Yeah, I would say in this matchup, it really comes down to who is the best with their civ, honestly, because in a 1v1, I could really give props to either side. Okay, so it looks like the Inca is going to start off with 2 concha houses with their wood, which I think is a solid move. These are no ordinary houses that the Inca have, these concha houses. They actually trickle you food, right? And because he has 2 of them, it's 0.6 times 2, which amounts to 1.2 food per second. So that's pretty good. You know, he's getting 1 food every second basically, and then every 6 seconds he's getting 2 food. So that's pretty awesome. Quite useful actually. So yeah. Wait a minute, no, every 5 seconds he's getting 2 food. Never mind. But same idea, you know. Pretty much he's getting a good food economy there. Let's see what the decks are. Mod. Why is it called mod? Like he modified the deck for the tournament or something? Yeah. Now one thing I will say, his Age 2 is a little bit bare here. All he has is his Vils, his gold, his ranged infantry attack, Team Inca Bridges, and then Conchicha Brewing. This is telling me that he's probably going to go for a fast fortress. Look at the Age 3. Like, the Age 3 is very well developed here. So, looking at a deck like that is telling me he doesn't plan on staying around in Age 2 very long. He's going for a fast fortress. And then looking at the India, who's getting distributivism, wood trickle by the way, since it's always the first card to go with India. The India is looking sort of semi-fast fortress-ish, right? They could potentially go all in with Sepoy, or they might just go for a casual Sepoy pressure while developing their Age 3. In that sense, it really comes down to how good the Inca can prepare their fast fortress. If they do it good, they have a real shot, but if they botch it, then it's going to be a clear win for the Indian civ. So we'll see, though. We'll see. What treasure is India again right now? So they're getting a wood treasure, is that right? Okay. Also, notice how the India is going for a 14 villager age up, so they did not go for the only 10 villager age up. Very key right there, right? And definitely picking up that wood treasure is going to be great for India, since Indian villagers, if you didn't know, cost wood. So it allows the India player to effectively be gathering some more food than they normally do, because they won't need as much wood now if they can at least get a few wood treasures at the start like that. So what wonder are they going for? So they're going Agrifort, I'm assuming? Oh, they're going for a forward Agrifort. Very interesting. And he is pressuring the Vils too to slightly stall his age up time. Very interesting. So that'll have a bit of an effect as well. Right. Oh, interesting. We see the Inca explorer fighting the elephants there. Pretty nice to see some explorer combat there. So this choice by the India player to plop it up over here is a pretty good spot. It's a natural choke point between this native site and this water. You got a mine over here, you got some hunts over here. Hunts in this area, hunts in that area. It secures a big portion of the map and gives you some really good map control. So the India player's decision making there is quite nice. Idleville. Beep, 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 beep. Idleville. Watch out for that. That's one of the most important things you gotta make sure you do with any Civ. Never idle your Vils. It's a bad, bad idea. Because if you idle your Vils, it's a ton of villager seconds gone to waste, and you really pay the price for it. Yeah. So we do see 3 Inca priestesses here to convert these treasure guardians. Kind of do the Wololo type thing. Wow, converts all of them. And effectively gets a 320 XP treasure. Now, that's good for Inca. That tells me that the Inca Fast Fortress will likely be successful. Just because of that huge treasure they just got. As me and Phoenix were talking about on Friday, when I was doing some co-casting, there's not a lot of good treasures on the Great Plains map. So if you can get the 320 XP one, you're in pretty good shape, since that's one of the few really good ones here. So definitely the Inca player is looking really nice right now. Because if the India player got that treasure for whatever reason, it would be very devastating. So the fact that Inca got it kind of keeps them in the game almost, in a way. Right, so what again now, they start with 700 gold. Now they're getting 5 villagers, so that's typically what we call a naked fast fortress, meaning you're going for age 3 without any sort of stops or anything. Not stopping for military, not really stopping for anything, trying to get the fastest possible age 3 timing. Right, now the India player is queuing up Sepoy right now. Right, looks like he already got a batch of about 5 of them out, and now he's queuing up another one, so at least to me it looks like he, at the very least, is going to develop Sepoy for a little bit. It's hard to say exactly. Oh, wait a minute now, he is going for a full push here, because he just went for his diplomatic intrigue card. Yep, basically if you're going for an all-out H2 push as India, you're going to start by queuing the Sepoys at your Agrifort, and then eventually follow up with your diplomatic intrigue card. That way you can establish an armament alliance and get access to their Delhi cavalry unit right away with that 400 export that you should have at that point. That way you have a huge mass of musket units and a couple of supporting hand calves to deal with skirmishers. It's a pretty good setup. Right, also the India's making sure to get market techs done, including professional hunters, which is the second hunting upgrade, so they already have hunting eagles. Very important to afford the big food costs on these Sepoys. Oh, going for 4 villagers followed by 6 Azaps. Interesting, so going for more of the greedy approach. I think that's pretty good, considering your opponent is already in age 3. So you need just a little bit more economy to keep up with them, probably. And then those Azaps will definitely help against any sort of ranged shock infantry that the Inca player does, basically. Oh, got their, got their fortress up. Very powerful. So did he send that through the Machu Picchu? Yep, send Machu Picchu to get access to this big giant fort here. And now the Inca player will be able to train up some elite macemen added. Okay, so going with elite macemen. That should be a pretty solid unit against cavalry, for sure. So, okay, so training 5 macemen and then shipping 5. So going to have like 10 macemen to work with. That should be pretty substantial. Let's see what he pulls off with that. Now, I don't know what he's going to do for population space. He seems to be going negligent on his housing space there, yeah. Oh, Oh, yep, that's the one thing you can do with fortresses in the Inca Civ. You can actually garrison your military inside of the fortress, and it actually negates their population cost against you as long as they're hiding out in this big fortress there, which is pretty cool because it allows you to stack more units into your army than you normally can. So he's actually using a pretty nifty mechanic of the Inca that we rarely ever be used in professional games. At least I haven't seen people use them a lot in professional games. Yeah, basically taking advantage of the military garrison in the fourth thing to get your pop stacking ability up pretty much. Yeah. Alright, so it's gonna queue up some more Macemen and gonna ship in the Bolas warriors. Going very strong on the anti-cavalry. I'm just worried you're not getting enough in the anti-infantry department because clearly the backbone of every Indian army in a 1v1 is going to be the sepoys. And the cavalry is going to be a supporting role in the form of the 3 Delhi consulate shipment as well as the 4 Sawar shipment from the home city. So you kind of want to go anti-infantry if you're fighting in India. Unless you see them develop stable and go hard on Sawars, which is, you know, kind of one of the rarer things to see. So right away we got 8 Bolas warriors, we got 15 Macemen here. Also going to send the other batch of Bolas warriors in too. I'm surprised we don't see any Huarica fighters here to deal with these sepoys. That's a little surprising. Okay, so the India reaches Main Street with the Shamanar Gate, giving them a free Mahout. Now, I think the Mahout isn't going to get a lot of good use here right now because the Inca player did indeed go anti-cavalry like crazy. Perhaps the Inca player went heavily on anti-cavalry because he knew that the India might go semi-fast fortress, since that's their preferred mode of winning 1v1s. So yeah, in that sense, at least the Inca should be immune to these elephants now. Also, look at the good handiwork these maces do against the Agrafort. They got a siege of about 90, so they're good at bashing down huge structures. The Agrafort is down, losing that map control. Now the Macemen are going to move on to the consulate, taking away 200. Ooh, look at this. Cancels out his British alliance. That's pretty critical. See, what that ended up doing is, because the India player couldn't reach his British alliance, that's actually going to cut down the HP on his entire army now. Because British consulate allies increases your HP. The fact that the Inca player was able to cancel that out by taking the consulate out is going to make the Zarumi weaker, it's going to make the sepoys weaker, it's going to make the Azaps weaker than they would be if they were under the British banner, giving the Inca player a little bit more of an advantage in taking him out now before he gets that consulate rebuilt. So it looks like now these Macemen count as siege troopers. Yes, they do. So you gotta be careful of these irregulars here. These irregulars will shoot multipliers into your Macemen, so you have to be a little bit cautious though. Yeah, it looks like he ended up losing them all, unfortunately, because these regulars actually do 42 damage to the Macemen because of their siege trooper tags, so you gotta be careful of that sort of thing. Watch your troops. Yep, very good. Don't go in there. You don't want to lose them. Alright, so how much sepoys is the India on? So the India is on 15 sepoys, plus he has a Mansabdar. The Mansabdar is sort of a commander unit that you can train from the Shamanar Gate. And you can make them for really every unit in the Indian roster, from their infantry, cavalry, and even their siege units. So all the Mansabdar does is basically boost up the stats of the nearby unit that it is. So Mansabdar Sepoy will boost nearby Sepoys. Mansabdar Gurkha will do it with Gurkhas. Mahout one will do it with Mahouts, and so forth. So which one is this? So it's only the 2 Mahout shipments, so it's the smaller one. He also has the big boy one, but this one costs a whopping 1,000 food. So if you're struggling for food, you have to start with the smaller 2 Mahout shipment. But if you have the 1,000 food in your pocket, go for the big boy one. It'll help you out a lot there. Also, looks like Inca has a batch of Jimu runners now. Basically hand cavalry to deal with skirmishers. So looks like he's got some of that right there. The India player does get his consulate back up and is going for that British alliance now. It's mostly critical for the elephants because the elephants gain quite a bit of HP from the British alliance, whereas the amount on the infantry pretty negligible. The main reason for going British alliance with India is for the elephants. Because if I think you notice right there, the elephant's HP went up by about 50 or so, which is quite good. Whereas for the sepoys, went up by like, I don't know, like 8 or 10 or something. Not a huge deal. Can make a little bit of a difference, but not a huge one. But for the elephant, makes quite the difference. Alright, so looks like the Inca player, what is he up to? He is getting more macemen. He is on the attack dance at the community plaza, which is going to boost up his damage rate. India is going for British East India Company to boost the stats on his sepoys by 10%, HP and attack. So that should be pretty good for those. So India just added in a batch of redcoats from their consulate, so a bit more anti-cav. Let's see how these macemen end up doing over here, right? If you can, try to get rid of those irregulars because they're doing 42 damage to your macemen now, so you might want to get rid of them. Wow, look at that mace swing. Lily's sending the sepoys flying in the air. I didn't know that they did that. Look at them flying in the air now. Whoa, look at them. They're getting ragdolled across the grass. Oh wow, yeah, they're getting ragdolled. Look at that stuff. That's insane. I didn't know they get ragdolled by those things. Yep, going flipping around like a frog. Whoa, that one went flying even farther. Whoa, what? Look at what he did. He went sort of twitched a little bit there. Oh man, that was pretty good. So yeah, these macemen are pretty repeatable. Big time. I mean, if we look at the stats real quick, it's 364 HP. 52 splash with about 2.5. 52 damage with 2.5 splash. Quite solid. Even has pierce armor too. So has a little bit of range immunity there. Even in crush damage, has about 10% crush armor too. So yeah, that's quite good. So the India now gets the siege elephant shipment in. This is really a Culverin mortar hybrid, so great against buildings and great against other artillery pieces. So that's really all it's good against. I don't know how these siege elephants are going to come into play here, but we'll see. Biggest thing to worry about with these guys is that they have a cavalry tag. Or at least they have a light range cavalry tag, so you do have to be careful with fighting skirmishers, which we don't see of any of them yet from the Inca player, but I believe the Bolaz warriors do have an anti-light cavalry multiplier, yeah, so the Bolaz warriors might be a serious problem here for those siege ellies. We'll see. We'll see right away if they are. So more macemen in for the Inca player. Seems to be working well for him, so he's going to keep making more of those. Chimu Runner going to scout around to see what they could find in the India base that they might be interested in. There's a wood line here. This is some mining here. Wood line could be targeted, but did cause a lot of detouring. I would maybe push from this side and go after the buildings perhaps with the macemen. Get the barracks down, get the stable down, get this barracks down, and you know, burn through a lot of their wood stockpiles to have to rebuild all that stuff. So yeah, that looks like what he's doing. He's going right after the product, and then he pulls back because he sees how many range troops that the India player has. So what are you going to do about those range troops? Huh? Are you going to go jungle bowmen? Are you going to go Huarica fighters? What is the plan for all this heavy infantry gear? Because heavy infantry, if you didn't know, guys have some hand armor, plus the HP on the sepoys is pretty solid as well. So, I mean, you're going to want to have some sort of skirmish maybe to deal with. Just telling you. Yeah, the priestesses are joining into the fray as well. Does he hope to, like, convert some of these units, perhaps? We'll see if he can pull it off or not. Alright, he pulls back here, he pulls back here, splits up like a banana split, probably to divert the Indians' attention. Where's he going with these guys? He's going, sticking in a close formation, then he's engaged. Yeah, I think he fumbled there. He fumbled a little bit. He was gonna go for a committed fight and then he pulled down chicken. So I think there he fumbled. And what's going on down here now? We got two Macemen, the Brothers, Warriors, and then the Priestesses there. In that matchup, it looks like it's getting completely cooked. Not good. You can't be a banana splitting like that because you just don't have the substantial numbers needed to deal with these very high HP splash elephant units here. Also forced to do the moon dance at the community plaza to generate wood, about 0.81 wood per second. Going for the Chimu support card to increase the hit points on Chimus by 20% and gives them 10 Chimus. I really don't think you need cavalry. You need anti-heavy infantry. You need archers. You need Huercas. You need one of your anti-heavy infantry troops, which we're not seeing. So I can't tell you what's going on here. Seen some good fights by the Inca player, but he's kind of losing that momentum real fast against this India. Heck, the Inca player even has a better score. He just doesn't have the right army. And it's going to cost him really bad here. Pops out before on the other side and is forced to retreat back since he doesn't have any sort of archer or anything like that to try to fight these things, which is not good. It's quite bad actually, so yeah, big time. Alright, TC is now under siege. I think this should be a quick pickup here for the India player since he does have the siege elephants supporting it as well. Quite good. Yeah, I think this is a win for the Indians. I don't see any comeback coming in from the Inca player. He just doesn't have the wood supply to get the archers out fast enough. He's going to try to ship in the Huerca players though, but that should have happened a long time ago. The fact that it took you this long to get those, very bad. Awfully terrible actually. Definitely shouldn't have waited that long for it. Because now he's going to pay the price with the match. Really not good. Just cleaning up the rest of his forces and should be a clean win there. Yep, even chasing the Bills right now. Jan Michael sent us a smiley face. A happy smiley face, too. Thank you for the happy smiley face. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. Got a lot more matches to go through tonight. I clean up these preliminary round ones so we can get into the round of 64 ones today, later today actually at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. depending on when I can start, and we'll probably spend a number of hours on those, which should be pretty neat. GG, yep, very nice. Alright, so let's move on to the next one now. I'll scroll and find it. King of Osmane versus this huge number here. Let me just make sure we don't have that one up there anywhere. Nope, this one's totally legit. Let's see how this one looks. And then we'll look at this one next, and then this one. We got a King of Osmane as France, and the big number person here is playing as the Chinese Triming Trufa. Howda. I'm trying to remember if I know that fella. I think they might actually be Chinese themselves, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Yep. Chinese name. It's totally a Chinaman. Cheeky Chinaman. So starting out with the trading post. That's standard of the Chinese build order. Also, the French build order also requires a trading post to set up their timing with everything quite nicely. So I believe in this situation, a France versus a China, there's a good chance we're going to see some sort of Age 3 action here. French love their Age 3, so do the Chinese. It's where they play their strongest at. So we could potentially see both sides going for a naked fast fortress and ignoring the other person until they get up. Or we might see some H2 action. It really depends. Depends on what build the China's doing. So the China did get the train post. They're getting the village right now for the housing space. So we're going to have to check their deck out and figure it out. They're probably getting T-Export, right? Yep, they're going to get T-Export. Yep, absolutely. It's always the first card to get. It's Chinese. Gives you a free consulate. That's 200 wood value. Actually gives you 100 export to use right away, so you can pick an alliance immediately. And then for the rest of the game, it adds an export trickle. So it's a very substantial card that does 3 very powerful things at the same time. So the question always is with China, which of the consulate allies are they going to go with? It's going to be one of two things. They're either going to go Russians for the blockhouse, or they're going to go French for the resource crate techs. One of those. There's really no other methodology of the Chinese on a land map like this. So we'll go up right here, find out right away what their alliance is going to be. Then we can gauge from that what their wonder is going to be. If it's Russians, it's probably going to be Summer Palace. Oh, it's going to be French, so we can assume that the wonder will be the Porcelain Tower. French consulate allies followed by Porcelain Tower is a very common build. The reasoning for going French allies in Age 1 is so you can research the 400 food crate technology to drop off 400 food in your base. It's very nice. It's a nice kick to get you into Age 2 very fast, right? And if you want to, you can stick around as the French and get the other resource crate techs, or from there you can jump off and move to either the British for HP, or the Germans for their trickle technologies and their discount on your banner armies food costs. It's a 7 villager Porcelain Tower age up. So it's going to be a very fast age up. The more villagers you put on, the wonder to build it. French will be going Quartermaster. So French do have the ability to stick it out in Age 2 with that setup of so many resource crates, but as I said, they'd much rather go to Age 3. Get the Falconet, the Dragoon, the Cuirassier, and the Skirmisher shipments back after back after back. That's the whole reason you get a trading post at the start of the game is France, so you can get those nice, useful unit shipments sent out rather close to each other, and you get a very nice win. Okay, for couriers, this is looking to be a semi-fast fortress with the stable, so we're going to see Hussars here. Okay, so Hussars are going to be a factor here. Hussars should definitely be able to beat the standard army of Chinese, as well as a few other ones right off the bat because of their high HP, their reasonable melee attack, and the fact that they're cavalry. Three Hussars, 700 wood. Okay, so going for infrastructure and cavalry. What is this? So the China's going to open up with a 7-step rider shipment there for some pressure, but I'm assuming they're going to go for 700 gold next and make it sort of a semi-fast fortress. Is that right? Yep, 700 gold. What did I tell you? Now what they're doing, which is interesting, is they are sticking around in the French consulate allies. So I don't know if that's just because they're busy or do they actually plan on sending the wood and the gold resource crate technologies as well to get those resources right off the bat. So that could be pretty good for them. So the step riders do take out one Hussar. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wow. Oh, took you long enough. Alright. Well, unfortunately, there's so many Hussars here that I would totally retreat with the Step Riders. Because the thing is, Step Riders, they're a one-pot cavalry, so they're very flimsy. They're kind of on par with Cossacks. Whereas the Hussars are a real meaty cav unit that you need to watch out for. So they do consume about 2 pop instead of 1. China is gonna go with Quang pikemen as a defense against Hussars. Because it looks like they will begin their fortress age, that is in the bag, but they do need a little bit of protection from mass cavalry. The Quangs will be a temporary solution until they can get into age 3 and get something a little bit more substantial. Yeah, Quang pikemen are, I believe, one of the weakest units statistically in the game, so even though they do counter cavalry, they can eventually be dealt with if needed. But it does look like the France is not going to waste any stats, and he's going to try to get out of there. Though the Quangs are snaring him right now. They are snaring him, but the France has developed barracks and doing musketeer. They're going 1 barracks musketeer. Yep, 1 barracks musketeer for now, but that could easily become a 2 barracks musketeer. Right, yep, definitely. Looks like the Chinese also called out their regulars too. Those are going to get swept pretty easily there by either a musket shot or a hussar swing with their saber. Looks like the China is still lacking the food to get their fortress age. Not good. Where are they going to make up that food from? You could eat the goat. Nah, it looks like the goat is a little under food needed there. So yeah, basically. Going for the 1 castle and flamethrower card, it looks like. That's typically the build we see from the Breaking Me player, who also does this build. I don't know in this situation if it'll be safe though, because you're going to have to get that castle up right away, since it looks like the French player is right active in your base. And you definitely got to make sure that flamethrower will not just get sniped right away by those hussars too, for it to be valuable. Still under the food they need for an age up, so I think they're trying to race towards something that they unfortunately can't get to right now, thanks to this very clever French pressure that they're applying. Alright, flamethrower got a little bit of success, but it was quickly diffused. Alright, gets the age up finally with Confucian Academy, so you can get some free flying crows, as well as a batch of arquebusiers to fight off these muskets. Is the France gonna go H3? Yep, yes they are. They're gonna get it's like, yeah, they sent their both gold cards to maintain pressure. Well, that's pretty interesting. So it looks like they do have enough gold now to get their Fortress Age going. Yep. Alright, they're gonna go up with, oh, they're already in Age 3. I didn't even notice that. So they're going for Age 4. They're going for Industrial Age with the Tycoon. They're going to Age 4 with the Tycoon. They're going to get a ton of gold from that. I think about 1,000 gold or so, right? Yeah, big time. Right now, it looks like the France will go Skirm Dragoon. One of the most reputable unit comps in the game, I would say, is light cavalry with the skirmisher, because they protect each other quite well in a fight. So, good idea by the France. And what they do with that 1,000 gold from the Tycoon age up, we'll see. We'll see what that ends up going into there. Looks like, yep, looks like China will be going to either German or Brit alliance. They are shipping in Chengdaos. Oh, they already, okay, so they queued up the French wood tech there, and now they're going to be going to British or Germans for consulate. I think Chengdao is probably a bad move, because they'll just get shredded by whatever the French are doing. I would, well, you know why? Because he thinks that he's going to be dealing with handcap. That's why. He's got that bias he planted in his brain without doing recon to verify. He thinks that his, yeah, he thinks his biggest threat's going to be those Hussars that have been fighting him before. So he's like, oh, I'm going to do Chengdao to protect against that, but didn't do any sort of intel to figure out that, no, we're actually going to need more of the, what's this comp again? It's, Skirmisher Dragoon. You're going to probably want at least skirmishers to fight them, like go mass Arquebusier or something. I mean, obviously these skirmishers are going to fight better than Arquebusiers, but if you can get enough of them, that's the best way to scare off the Skirmisher Dragoon combo. Beautiful shipment, by the way. Biang army gives you about 8 Stepbriars and 8 Kijiks. Just really bad for this situation. Yeah, because obviously the problem with going with this comp is skirmishers just counter your Kijiks, and then the Dragoons will take out your Stepbriars. So really all you can do as China is just try to get more skirms than they got and try to, you know, eke out some land with that. And maybe put in a few flamethrowers if you can too, to do the necessary meat shielding. Nice win there for the French. We'll move on to the next one now. Very nice stuff so far. I'm just curious what this one is. This is kind of a boring one. I don't think you want to watch this. I don't like looking at my own stuff usually. So we'll go to the next one then. Sturdy Table versus Myceus. This should be a good matchup. Myceus is going as Ottomans, and Sturdy is going as Brits. So a British versus Ottoman. Kind of a powerful combination, you know. Brits are a very strong civ, the Ottomans are a very strong civ. So we'll have to see who ends up doing better here. Either the Manor Boom or the Ottoman unit timing using their control of the trade route. Yeah, so right away, Ottoman develops mosque plus trading post plus house. That's the standard Ottoman build order. Get a mosque, get a trading post. Key part of playing the Ottomans, your unit timing with your cards from the home city. Getting out those infamous cards like Two Falconet, Mamluk, Safahi. That's what makes the Ottomans really roar. So they're going to need all the XP that they can get, whether that's trade route, building their mosque structure, or getting treasures that help with that. Standard land. So this is kind of an interesting one because it gives the Ottoman player a number of options. They could stake it out in H2, they could fast fortress, or they could fast industrial. They got a lot of options here, namely because they got both Royal Decree and the mosque construction card, which is over here. This one, all it does is cheapens up all the text of the mosque, including the Royal Decree, so that's kind of good actually, kind of good. Makes it really affordable. And we'll have to check out what the British deck is as well, see if there's anything deviant on their end. Looks pretty normal to me. Red Musketeer, Longbow, resource crates, upgrades. Looks pretty standard to me. So we'll see if the Brit can beat the Ottomans here and vice versa. So Brits will age up with the Governor, right? Yep, the Governor. Gives you about 200 gold and a tower. Sets you up quite well, typically. Ottoman's going Core Master, very fair. Gives them a nice 400 wood to put up infrastructure, get their houses down, all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, I would probably try to go age 3 or 4 with Ottomans here. Just saying. Because in general, you don't quite know what the Ottomans are going to do. And Ottomans more often... yeah. What am I saying? Oh, the Brits, yeah. Talk about the Brits, right. Yeah. The Ottomans should do a fast industrial against the Brits, maybe, or a fast fortress. Yeah, well, you have to be careful with that, mainly because the British can get a big mass of muskets on your doorstep if you're not cautious. But it does look like, you don't know yet, because they're still going from age 1 to 2, so we'll figure that out real fast. Good market timing for the British there, already ready to get steel traps. Or is that? No, that's the Ottomans. What are the British doing? Do the British have a market? Yep, they do, but they haven't gotten steel traps yet, it looks like. Yeah, it's good to get steel traps as fast as you possibly can as the Ottomans, because it helps with your age up timing. It also affords you to afford your Safahi shipments since those cost food. So there's a reason why getting the food stuff early with the Ottomans is typically a good idea. As Brits usually do in a 1v1, they develop some muskets out of a forward barracks with the supporting outposts that they got from the Governorage up to protect that barracks a bit. Whereas Ottoman getting a barracks, so they will defend the Janissary, it looks like. Yeah, I guess they don't want to risk the fast fortress just because they know the Brits going to come swinging right out of the gate with their musketeer timing. Yeah, big time. Phil's forced to retreat. Use the town sire fire to try to take out one or two of these muskets at least. Ooh, interesting. So, timing the barracks with an age up. The marksman. So, gonna have a establishment of some Janissaries already. And a supporting mass of about 4 Abbas gunners from that age up. Will be pretty good for deterring musketeer pressure, I would say, especially those Abbas gunners. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll also find out if Brits end up getting double barracks at all to solidify their pressure. Ottomans are always nifty with their defense because they get the Bashi Bazooks. And the Bashi Bazooks, unlike other emergency troops, actually get a multiplier against heavy infantry. So they're actually a little bit more equipped for gutting these muskets compared to Minutemen. Going for a secondary barracks as Ottomans, a little bit surprised by that. Normally you would want to go with a foundry, so you can go Janissary Abbas. That's a pretty solid combo. I don't know if going double barracks Jan in age 3 makes a lot of sense to me. Because normally if you want to go double barracks Janissary, you just stick it out in age 2, get it developed as early as possible, and then apply some maximum pressure. Here it seems like they're sort of going the mix between a double barracks Janissary and a fast fortress, which seems a bit strange on paper. Okay, so the Brit, from the looks of it, develops a stable and is doing some Hussars now. I think that's a pretty good move, because then if the Ottoman player does any Abbas, at least you know you got Hussars there to press them in those areas. They're critical. Alright, so it looks like the Brit is now queuing up 2 Hussar Musketeer. And for a mix of musket Huss, that's pretty good usually. Also shipping in about 4 settlers. Going for a pretty solid economy right there. 7 musket and 2 hussar. Fortunately, not enough yet to pressure the Ottoman player, who already has 2 barracks up at this point. The question is, what do the Ottomans get as their next shipment? They will get the 2 Falconet one to blast down the muskets, and then just try to protect them as much as possible with massing a veteran Janissary. So I think theoretically in this situation, Ottomans seem to now have it under control, because those 2 Falconets will be pretty good sieging and anti-infantry popping power, and then the Janissaries will just act as the protection for them from the Hussars. Especially with the Varan upgrade, they'll be quite nice here. Jan's pushing on their own, it looks like. And a bit surrounded by the Hussars there, and then the muskets are stretched. Falconets are arriving a little late to the party with no protection. This isn't good. Oh man, look at that. Wow, wow. You never want to do that, my friend. Never. You gotta make sure you keep the Falconets with the Janissaries. Like peanut butter and jelly. You can never separate the two when you're doing that as well. He let his whole infantry army get cooked by the bigger numbers. And then the Hussars just ran down the isolated Falks. The Ottoman is going to try to repel with double queuing of Janissaries and then the big boys shipping a bay of them. But I think at this point, kind of the whole scheme of your Fortress Age is over. Yeah, GG, well played. Absolutely. Good, sturdy gameplay by a sturdy table. Very sturdy indeed. Just consistent musket, hussar, massing, and pressure there. That led to a good, consistent ability to perform on the battle there. Yeah. Alright, so which one are we on now? Anubis versus the Chinese fella that we just saw with the big number name. Let's see who prevails in this one now. So Anubis will be going French, and the Chinese number fella will be going as the Ottomans. So we got an Ottoman versus France. Always an interesting matchup. Clearly both civs really love their fast fortresses, but both civs are totally capable of doing some good old musket combat in Age 2. Yeah, it should be quite nice. So if it does come down to that, you just have to be aware as France that you'll be going up against Janissaries, which are going to be a lot more durable in HP. So Ottoman player, again, their standard build of Trading Post Mosque House to maximize their XP and get some really good unit timing with the home city. French, kind of the same with their trading posts as part of their build. And that'll be the start of the game. The Chinese player got about 30 XP, it looks like. Yeah, overall, most of the treasures on this map are pretty small. 25 wood. I mean, they definitely help, but it's really the big ones in the middle of the map, like the 32 XP, that really just can decide a game or not. Useful tip and trick: if you ever see an Ottoman player in a casted match start up with the Capitalism Gold Trickle, that means that they're going pretty hard on the fast fortress. Because the theory is, if you start with the first card as Capitalism, with that gold trickle, by the time you reach Age 2 and you have your 700 coin developed, you should have enough coin to get the Fortress Age in. So, kind of an interesting idea, because normally what people will normally think of is, hey, since I have a trade post in the mosque, I'm just going to ship my bills in first and then get capitalism. But the truth is, the most optimal gold number that you can get, which is you have to get about 1,000 to reach Fortress Age, right? You have to figure out where you're going to get that other 300 gold from. So the best way to do it, start out with capitalism, so that by the time you send your 700 gold, that trickle will have already given you that 300 gold needed for the Fortress Age, right? And then from there, if you wanted to send villagers in, you could ship in the bigger shipment in age too. Maybe. But we'll see how this deck looks. Yep, see, for a very coordinated Fast Fortress Almond deck, they won't even include the villagers. They'll just straight up start with capitalism no matter what, and then go 700 gold, and then pull in all these powerful Fortress Age shipments here. That's what they normally do, typically. Looks like a Quartermaster again for 400 wood. Whereas the France will be going Quartermaster as well for 400 wood. Picking up hunting dogs, it looks like. Probably placing mines very soon as well, and then steel traps. Yep, typically in the transition from age 1 to 2, French will focus on getting all their major hunting market upgrades done. Hunting dogs, steel traps, and placer mines. Those are the primary ones that they really need to get, typically. We'll see what they do after that. Will they go CBDs? Will they go resource crates? What will be their game plan? Alright, going for the CBD shipment, which tells me, yep, developing stable first to do some Hussar rushing, whereas the Almond player going for that naked Fast Fortress with 700 gold. So we got a straight up naked Fast Fortress Almond. It's going to have to defend against Hussars. But as you've seen before, as an Almond goes for a Fast Fortress, they can typically, if they plan everything out just right, can fit in a barracks and have some sort of Janissary defense, which is quite nice. Alright, so yep, already queuing up about 3 of the Hussars. Might be able to squeegee in one more and go right after that Almond opponent to try to take out Vills, disrupt them, do as much havoc as possible. What will the Almond age up with, though? We'll see. Will it be Marksman? Will it be Scout? Will it be Exiled Prince? We'll have to see. Alright, so Barracks is up. They have enough gold to age up with, right? Yep, looks like they do. And they do have enough to initialize the queuing of the Janissaries as well. So they'll have a bit of protection. So age up is going to be what? What exactly? What will the age up be? Oh, Hussars are already in. Look at that. Already disrupting the wall of houses there. Age up will be the Exiled Prince for age up speed at the cost, again, no reward of any kind. So they're looking to get to age 3 very quickly and get one of these big boy shipments. They're even going to get the Falcons, the Cav Archers, Safai. Looks like this one was pretty packed. I will say one problem though, no Mamluk option. Mamluk option is pretty important when you're doing the Fast Fortresses, the Ottomans. You know, Mamluk's one of the most powerful cards you can potentially send. So if you turn down the possibility of going Mamluk, from the home sea, it can be pretty painful. Yeah. I do see some other spicy options, like a big ASAP one. The Zams, well, this could be good, but I would say Mamluk is probably more priority over all those. So the Ottoman will start with shipment of Cav Archers alongside Janissary. I think for this purpose, because the Ottoman player already guesses what's going to happen, I think that's pretty fine. You know, going Cav Archer Janissary to counter the Hussars will be pretty appropriate here, actually. But well, yeah, we'll see if that ends up being true or not.
Je suis blessé. Je ne peux pas bouger. Emrin? Over! Hazır.
Okay, so the France also reaches age 3 and goes Dragoons, trying to press the Falconets, but thankfully Ottoman's quick work with the Cav Archers Janissaries pushes them off for now. France also develops a barracks and gets skirmishers. Skirmisher Dragoon is a very formidable combination here. For the Ottoman player, they'll have to make sure that their Falconets can maintain pressure on the skirms, while keeping their Janissaries working on the Dragoons if possible. Also has a batch of delis there, it looks like. Let's see where those delis were there. A shipment of delis? Yep, a 5 deli shipment there. That could be good for raiding or potentially disrupting the line of skirmishers there. Should be quite nice. Janissaries do get some melee on the Dragoons, which is great. Delis squeegee through onto the skirms. Very nice. But unfortunately, Ottomans lose their Falconet. Very unfortunate since it's the biggest power player here. How many skirms can these Delis get rid of? So maybe one more, because the Dragoons are doing a good job at smothering and walking off the Cav. Oh man, I didn't even realize how bad positionally the Ottomans are now, so they're going to have to retreat. You know, these Dragoons are going to keep chasing them, shooting, and then when they feel in trouble, then the skirms will just catch up and deliver some damage. So look at that, snipping off one of those Janissaries. Snip, snip, snip. And now these dragoons come in again for another strike. Right there. Oh, nice. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Good work of the skirmishers there, keeping the dragoons off to the side so they don't take too much of a brunt there. Because these Azabs are indeed a serious threat to dragoons, so you have to be careful with them. You know, the Azabs can threaten them pretty good. Going for the big Sifahi shipment. I think that's pretty good. We'll finish off these skirms and can last slightly longer against dragoons. So if you're going to break this attack with anything, it's probably going to be the Sifahis at this point. Could have also considered the Abbas too. The Abbas could have been good, because the Abbas can eat through their pierce armor of the skirmishers, and then they'll absolutely shred dragoons. Now that the Sifahis are dead, I feel like the Ottomans have unfortunately lost most of their steam in Age 3, and the French continue to push on pretty strong. And how many shipments have they gone through? So, if they wanted to, they could have sent the Falcons or the Corsairs in, so they got a lot of steam behind them still, but they actually are opting for cavalry combat to beef up these dragoons even more. Do the Ottomans even have the resources for Abbas Gunner? They're not even making Abbas Gunners. They can't even afford them right now. So they have like no absolute way of dealing with these dragoons. I mean, he's gonna see. I would go. Abbas Gunner. Don't get Nizams. Nizams don't have any multipliers against the dragoons, even though they have a ton of different formations and stuff. They just don't have one, if I recall, against dragoons. So that's a good move there. Was trying to go for a resurgence there, but just didn't work. Unfortunate. Let's see what other good one we got here. Let's see what we got in this list. Chef Sadiste versus I Am Persian. I like... Oh, Chef Sadiste versus Kaiser Klein. Huh. I want to see that one. That one looks pretty good. Kaiser Klein as Germans, and then Chef Sadiste as the Portuguese. Very nice one. I've actually seen Chef Sadiste play as the Portuguese before, I think against Revnak, back in the old HVNI House of the Train Post recordings I got. So that's a pretty nifty matchup, seeing another Chef Sadiste trying to survive as the Portuguese. So we'll see what this one ends up looking like here. So Chef Sadiste is getting his first house there. Whereas Germans, are they going to go for a trading post, or are they just going to go for a bunch of treasures here? Yeah, just trying to figure that. Okay, so they get the market up right away to get hunting dogs. It's very typical of the German build order to get a market with hunting dogs, because basically you get these villagers here, the settler wagons. Importance dice match. Yes. Yeah, but as I was saying before, these settler wagons are basically two villagers in one. So they have the gather rate of like 2 vills in one. So if you can get hunting dogs for them, really benefits your economy quite nicely. It's like a 1.87 food per second gather rate on the huntables, quite nifty. Then also helps all of your settlers too, obviously, which is great. Now, what is he doing on gold? So he's gotten his hunting dogs. Oh, interesting. So he mined gold to trade it for wood to get a house. I've never paid close attention to these players to see if that's how they do it. Yeah, very interesting. So Kaiser Klein is doing that against okay. So I'm gonna start with the 2 Settler Wagon card for Germany. It's very, very powerful. Since Settler Wagon has a gather rate of like 2 villagers, getting a 2 Settler Wagon card means that it's really the value of almost like 4 settlers, which in Age 1 is like, like that. Yeah, it's quite good. Whereas Portugal is going to get Vitorias. That's the typical first card for Portuguese since they don't get any villager cards. Basically, all of these town centers will begin to trickle food, wood, and gold in small amounts. So the gold trickle's about 0.24. Same with the wood one. The food one's a little bit bigger at 0.36. And since you get a free covered wagon with every Portuguese age up, that Vitoria effect is going to naturally grow and grow and grow as you add more TCs into your base. No trading posts yet for the Germany. Always got to pay attention to that. We have seen a lot of Portuguese go for trading posts as well. Is he going to build one? I believe so. Yes, he is going to go for a TP here. Look, he's keeping the Explorer right over there, tailgating him right there to get a TP down. And you'll get it right now. Yep, there you go. Okay. Yep, one thing you'll note about Portuguese decks, Portuguese decks are really geared towards Fast Fortress. Yeah, Portugal really shines in Age 3. You're never going to really see a Portugal that wants to stay in Age 2 like ever. They're always going to want to go for a Fast Fortress, ideally a naked Fast Fortress. So that's why you're seeing all that coverage in Age 3 for the Portuguese deck and really nothing in Age 2 besides economy. Yeah, neat fact about Portuguese in Age of Empires 3. Because they have all that defense in their base from the town centers and all that turtling capability, Portuguese are one of the only civs in a competitive sense that can afford to have like serious eco cards in their deck like Sustainable Agriculture, Cigar Roller, Eco Theory. The Portuguese can afford it because they have the villager booming potential with all those town centers and can obviously defend them better since they'll, as long as you're planning your economy right, you always have a place to hide them in case of raiding. So yeah, as I said, naked Fast Fortress for Portugal. They're going to go 700 gold right out of the gate. Whereas Germany goes for the 3 Settler Wagon card. That's like a whopping 6 villager value. Yeah, since every Settler Wagon's like 2 vills in 1. Again, 3 Settler Wagons is like getting 6 vills in 1, which is very strong indeed. After that is anybody's guess. They do have Silversmith in the deck to help with mining, gather rate, as well as longevity of the mines. They do have really all of the necessary Age 3 cards for Germany, which would be the Skirmisher cards, the Uhlans, the War Wagon, and then the Mercenaries. That's looking pretty nice. So the Germany does eventually go TP. Actually grabs the greedier middle trading post there, probably to prevent Portugal from getting it. Okay, the Germany's going to go for 700 gold right now, and they got a stable. So if you didn't notice, Yuan's cost a whopping 100 gold. So it does make sense to get 700 gold right now. just so you can keep up with the Yulon pressure. Because Yulons, for their lack of HP, they got some great damage. Got some great hand attacks. So 35 hand attack hits pretty hard when you're trying to raid your Portuguese opponent who's trying to turtle like crazy. Portugal getting ready for Age 3 is already establishing a stable, so they can start up with Dragoons right away. One of the critical units of the Portuguese roster, based on the cards they get. Also, they're getting a market too, so they can start getting those eco market techs done as well. There's hunting dogs, followed by placer mines. Yep. Alright, so queuing up Dragoon, shipping about 5 in, so already getting that Dragoon defense already prepared. Oh, went with the Ethiopian Princess. The Ethiopian Princess for a Portuguese gives you about 5 Shotel Warriors. Yeah, it's pretty good, you know. These Shotel Warriors obviously have multipliers against light infantry, so they'll be great against skirmishers. Yeah, so if Germany does any sort of skirmishers in Age 3, which looks like they also reach with that 700 gold, then yeah, Shotel Warriors will definitely do well against that. Just concerned they start with the veteran upgrade already researched on them.
Já me sinto mais forte.
Portuguese already downing a villager, quite nice. Also going to be queuing up more Dragoons from their stable, so they're popping with these Dragoons pretty well there, yeah, big time. Hello there, great videos, how you doing, man? Hopefully you think this is a great video as well as I do. Yep, big time. Going for the powerful organ gun shipment, it looks like. It gives you a whopping 3 organ guns, which can be great against infantry. Let's see what the Germany is actually doing here. So they got a stable, they're getting a barracks now. Going for Industrial Age with the Tycoon for 1,000 gold. I'm assuming they're going for either heavy cans or they're going for the Winged Hussars then. Yeah, the Winged Hussars card is quite good because it gives you about 7 Polish Winged Hussars and sets them up with their guard native upgrade. So, quite powerful. Quite strong. And Winged Hussars were obviously really good because they start out with a charge attack where they do a ton of damage and then they just bash you with it really nicely, which is good. Like organ guns are right on the town center. Dragoons also sieging, also the Shotel Warriors. Alright, so Germany's gonna go heavy cans, but they're also queuing up skirmishers. So skirms are ideally gonna pick off Dragoons where they can, but definitely wait until the heavy cans arrive. Also, you has a reserve of Yulons here as well. So Yulons will be quite good. But again, you're going to want your skirms to be on top of those Dragoons to make sure both the heavy cans and the Yulons can sort of do their jobs a bit easier there. Biggest job for the heavy cans is going to be to get those organ guns first. Boom! Right Oh, no, nope, nope. The organ guns do get away. Accidentally clicked on a Dragoon, taking it out, but get the organ guns enough warning time to get out of there, looks like. Alright, gonna train up a war wagon and also ship in those winged hussars that I graciously talked about for their wonderful charge attack.
Não me posso mexer!
And get more war wagons. Let's see. So the Portugal's actually going for an industrial age too. Out of this town side. Going up with the Tycoon for 1,000 gold. So what are they gonna do with that? Huh? They're gonna get their own heavy cans, is that right? Also picking up veteran Hussar. Will they have enough time to get the Hussar? Well, they looks like they already have a few, but will they get another batch out? Quite an interesting matchup here. Let's see, some skirmishers picking at the vills, force them into the town center there. Cavalry coming behind, war wagons here, heavy cans. Watching this very closely now. So, does get the age up, I think. But will they be able to pick up the gold? Now that's a good question. Let's see if they can pick up the gold there. They will. Oh, there. Okay, so cover wagon coming out over here. I doubt he's gonna be able to lay down anything, unfortunately. Oh, I'm gonna. Oh, he gets down. Oh wow. Ooh, Hussars right on top of the heavy cans. That's the pull though. Dragoons can finish them off. Or not. Oh, wow. Look, the line of Ulans and winged Hussars like blocks off the Dragoons and forces them back. Bill's popping out with the Minutemen. Oh, man. Good German push here. Good Germany. Wow. Portugal's going to try queuing their own 2 heavy cans from the home city shipment. But I think by that point... Look at all the lost vills here. Look at all these vills. They try to like escape with them all, and they're all getting like nuked by the cannons. Oh no, he's trying to fight his heavy cans now with the villagers in the anti-artillery attack. Is that right? No, he's definitely losing them all. Why is he pulling these ones up? Just run away, man. Oh my, whoa. crazy. It's crazy. Whoa. Oh, look at that one. Dang. Look. Look. Ah, nice, nice, nice. Ooh, that's pretty good. Yeah. Alright, so I think we've gone through all the major ones, right? I'm going to be leaving now because I got to prepare for work in the morning. But yeah, this was good. I think we're going to close it off here because I want to start going into the best out of 3 series with the round of 64 now. So this will conclude all stuff I do for PK tournament, Player Killers Clan tournament. That is preliminary round. Now we're going to be moving into their round of 64. So all best out of 3 series. I got a ton of them downloaded already, and we'll be able to check them out technically later today, right? Yeah, around 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. depending on when I can start up. So that'll be good. I should be more energized then too, because I was kind of falling asleep here. Kind of took in a bit of sugar to jolt myself up, but didn't work. So yeah, thank you for coming. Sign off now. See you later today around 5 or 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the first castings I'll do for round of 64 for this Player Killers Clan Age of